to maybe 4 or 5 of them, maybe 6 in my lifetime, and they are an amazing, amazing opportunity to learn the depth and breadth of what it means to be a Rotarian. And by coming to Houston in 2 years, we're going to get to experience all of its gander, all of its just amazing opportunities with about 20, hopefully 25,000 Rotarians from all over the world when they come here. Now we're going to have to do work as Rotarians. District 5890, District 5910, and other districts around are going to be helping us. And that's what this presentation is about. So let me jump right into it. So first I want you to organize or understand how it's organized. So there's 2 aspects to a international convention. There's one, what's called you'll hear it referred to in the future as the HOC. That's the Host Organization Committee, which is made up of Rotarians. And we're going to go into the various aspects of that. And then there's the Rotary International Convention Committee, which are paid employees and the really higher up people in Rotary. And we work as partners with different responsibilities to make sure we pull off a great convention. So let me jump into a little bit. Overall, the HOC is responsible for what's called host events. For those of you who have been to an international convention before, these terms will make a lot of sense for our new Rotarians. Host events, as you can see here, are the special events. Like if we take a bus trip down to NASA, House of Friendship we'll talk about, various other promotions, themes, and of course flag ceremonies. And that's the only thing that our committee does, but only is really kind of minimizing it. The International Convention Committee, on the other hand, they're the one that is in charge of reception or registration, hotel contracts, facility rentals, main transportation, and we'll come back to transportation. The big sessions, if you've ever been part of any kind of organization and you have these big plenary sessions where you have 10,000 people at, and all the breakout sessions. And so that's where Rotary International is responsible for that aspect of the convention. So here's the overall look at how the committee is set up, and we're going to jump into each one of these. And as you look at each one of these, think about your own special interest and where you will want to volunteer. Because to pull off this convention, when we say we need every Rotarian, we really mean we're going to need every Rotarian in our district, all 2,600, to be doing something for this convention. So you can see here it goes from Vice Chair of Signature Events, Chris Schneider, Vice Chair of Host Operating Committee Operations, John Hathaway. He's a past governor from 5910. Volunteer or Vice Chair of Volunteers, Jack Harden. Vice Chair of House of Friendship, Delisa Simmons. Vice Chair of Sponsorships, Lisa Faith Massey. Vice Chair of Finance, Jackie Barmore. Marketing Promotions, Rhonda Wallace-Kirby. I'm in charge of what's called General Services, and then we have one other area of pre-convention events that's yet to be assigned. So let's jump into each one of these. So signature events, this is one of what I call really a lot of the fun stuff. And this is what, if you ever go to another convention, you're always looking to, what do you do outside of going to meetings during the day? None of these are set yet. All of these are in preliminary discussions. And Lord knows, if you have something that you'd like to contribute to any one of these, it could be a contact, it could be insight, or maybe something else you want us to consider. We're always looking for that. But think of these things as what visiting Rotarians would want to do. You may say, well, I don't want to go to the Houston Zoo, but if you're from various parts of the world, that might be a very entertaining thing. So we have an Astros game, we have a tour down to NASA, we have a visit to Galveston, we have the Houston Zoo. Every Rotary convention has a service project, maybe a night at the theater, and dinner or a museum. Chris Schneider, past Governor Chris Schneider, is going to be handling that. So if you have an interest in any of that, please let us know. And there'll be a list of contact information at the very end. Volunteers and training. Jack Harden will be in charge of this. And really, once again, if you've ever traveled around, everything from airport greeters to people standing outside buses, pointing them in the right direction, to standing on street corners, directing traffic. Rick Smith, you and your long hair, you could stand on a street corner. I mean, that'll be helpful. Just kidding. You know, people at the airports that have the Rotary sign on their chest pointing in the right direction, but volunteers are going to be key on the days preceding and after the convention where we're going to need your help. House of Friendship. So those who have never been, a House of Friendship is a huge hall full of all the Rotary vendors and service projects from all over the world. This is one of those just fabulous places that you go to that you will see service projects that you've never thought of, service projects you've only heard of, and you get a chance to go visit and mingle and make contacts with people from all over the world. So part of this committee will be everything from booth sales to forms of entertainment in the hall, to food and concessions, to an area for youth. We have people involved in the layout, the presentation of the booths, VIP arenas or areas. And so this House of Friendship, and by the way, Bill, maybe later on at the very end, you can give your 2 cents again on maybe some aspects of this, of which you've really enjoyed going to these conventions. But the House of Friendship is just a gathering place that you would go between plenary sessions, and it's just where you get to see all the fabulous things that happen in the world, and you get to talk to the people that run these programs. Sponsorships. Now here's a huge one, folks. We have to raise a couple of $1 million in our district. It's not all paid for by registration. And so here's a big ask. If you are, or if you have contacts with big corporate sponsors, now obviously in today's environment, you're probably not making that ask. But as we come out of COVID, we're going to need oil and gas sponsors, people that you think that would maybe really want to get promotion out of seeing 25,000 people from all over the world. We always mention oil and gas due to the international aspect of that. It could be another venture, but sponsorships are going to be under Lisa Faith Massey, and we're going to have everything from packet opportunities to strategies and targeting. But first and foremost, if you have an idea, like you have your best friend is a CEO of Coca-Cola, that's a contact that we want to make and we need for you to think about. Next, we go to marketing and promotions. Rhonda Walls-Kirby is going to be in charge of this. So this is a very diverse committee, everything from decor in the city to social media to website to public relations to going out and promoting it. You can see on the far right-hand side, other districts in the state. We go to them, we've already gone to them and solicited their participation. We obviously were not in Hawaii this year. That convention was canceled, but we'll be in Taiwan next year. We as the host operating committee will be in that House of Friendship with a booth that says come to Houston. And so that's real important. And just a backdrop, we applied for this convention back in 07 and 08, which the end of my year's governor, beginning of Rhonda Kennedy, but they chose Brazil back then over us. And then obviously we applied again and were awarded it. But marketing promotions is big. So I know we have a ton of people in the district and in the club that have marketing backgrounds, and you want to be involved in this or have contacts, then this will be very key. My area, which believe it or not, used to be a lot bigger, and for some reason they cut it down. I think they wanted me to be real focused. They didn't want me to get distracted. A lot of the transportation, the primary thing is the transportation issues to those host operating. So not the buses that run throughout downtown, but if we go to NASA, that'll be one of those areas that I'll be in charge of, as well as a few other things that you can see, and some things that haven't been assigned that come under the title of general services. We go to operations. This is kind of the back office stuff, from an office that we have set up to government relations. Now you may have a key contact in the government that would help us there. Welcome packets, lost and found. So really, host operating committee operations is the backdrop to all that we do. We have finance and risk management. We don't have a chair of that right now, but that's going to be, of course, keeping track of merchandise sales, district assessments, and very well, there could be some small district assessments over time that would be passed on to members as a way of funding a lot of our activities. So here we go towards a couple of things here at the end. So we're going to have to raise money, folks. There's no way around that. Dues assessments, promotional sales items, grants, and then, as you can see, the bold word of sponsorships. I can only imagine, Bill Griffin, maybe your company comes in and they want to be the title sponsor for $150,000. That's the kind of thing we're looking at. Ticketed events, those events that we talked about, whether it be to NASA, those will be at certain prices, and that'll help raise money. And then the House of Friendship booth sales go back to us as a district, and we'll start doing that a year from now. The interesting part of the politics of this is that RI prevents us from doing anything formal until the year before, because they don't want us to promote Houston to the detriment of Taiwan, or this year, Taiwan to the detriment of Hawaii. And so they prevent a lot of things so that we can't do them. We can't do them ahead of time. Right now, the only two things that we started doing a while back was they created on the left Orby, and it's just a little bear, as you can see, that they sell for $25. And then there's a lapel pin. That lapel pin you see has a very small Rotary symbol on it, and it kind of symbolizes Houston, and it's about just starting to gather money. Anybody went to San Antonio many years ago, they had the sheriff badges that everybody wore, and that raised a ton of money to help out with all of the different efforts. So the next steps, we're identifying right now corporate sponsors, and we need your help doing that. We're filling in committee members. So if you have an area that you have an interest in, and let me say, it can be a very small participation all the way to a lot as we lead up. And then the event, obviously, as I said, the 4 days of the convention, we'll need a lot of different volunteers. We're finalizing host events now, preparing for promotional events. And then it's just a whole bunch of work from now to then. Right here, you can see the host operating committee contact information. You all know how to get a hold of me, but these are people that if you want more information and you want to step up and fill a major role, then we can do that. So with that, I'm going to close this. Hey, Scott, Todd, if you can stop the screen sharing. Okay, there we go. And then I'll open it up for any questions, answer them best I can.
Looks like Carl had a question that he put in the chat, which is, where are the plenary sessions held?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's all going to be down at the GRB downtown. And then the major, every convention has a couple of major hotels. And so right down at the GRB, what is it? The Marriott on one end and the Hilton on the other. And then one of our huge events we'll have that whole Discovery Green out as a major event one night, to where everybody will be out there, that we'll have it just to ourselves. And of course, in light of COVID and everything else going on, I'm sure even 2 years from now, there'll be different things that we'll have to do to make everybody secure, safe, and happy. When we first started this process, it was more a relation to safety as a result of 9/11. That's what we were thinking about. Now we're transitioning to not only obviously safety of results like that, but now COVID. So yes, it'll be at the GRB, and then you have those major hotels, and then hotels all over. Now, does everybody know that Houston is considered the most air-conditioned city in the country? So one of the challenges we faced was when we first submitted for this, people were like, Houston in July or June versus Brazil? Well, just between me and you on the call, Brazil didn't fulfill all their obligations. And the rumor is that this could be the last convention that Rotary involves Rotarians at this level. And I think what you found is in non-US conventions, due to a variety of topics we can't talk about in a public forum, things just didn't get done like they should. Promises were made, things didn't happen. And so I think they're considering eliminating a lot of the things that we may be doing for the last time in 2022. Any other questions?
Yeah, where can people go to buy an Orby or the lapel pin?
Email me and I'll take charge in getting those and bring them to the club. Bill Griffin, would you mind sharing maybe some of your experiences at some conventions?
Sure, I'd be happy to. I've attended 2 international conferences, 1987 and 1966, and it's amazing. In '87, I was president of our club, and our incoming president, I guess. And what was amazing then was got to sit at a breakfast table with 12 people from different countries, and we were all talking about the same thing. The Rotary had just announced Polio Plus. So it was amazing to have those kind of conversations. The trips that you can go with Rotarians and to visit and really see the area are amazing. The 2 I attended were in Denver, Colorado, and then also in Munich, Germany. So it's a great time. It's really a lot of fun, and for you and your significant other, it's incredible. I also have a question, if I could, Jeff.
Yeah, sure.
A chance I know Rotary has a lot of fellowships in a lot of different areas. Will there be a time or places where those fellowships can meet members of those as well?
Well, yeah, the House of Friendship is where all the different fellowships will have booths. For example, I'm part of the Motorcycle Fellowship. There's the Wine Fellowship. There's more fellowships than you can think of. And that'll be a great time to see them at the House of Friendship.
I know we have some scouts in our club, so they also have a fellowship of scouting Rotarians.
That's right. You know, one of the other things, I've been to Chicago and LA, and one of the things that our club used to do, I don't know if it still does, our club would pay for the incoming president to go to the international convention.
I highly recommend that.
I would too. I think it's one of those things that it puts you in a frame. I got to go to just drew a blank where I got to go to in Europe, and it was, you know, one of those things that just it sets you up to be the president of your club. Yeah. So it's a fabulous thing. Any other questions that I can answer?
Jeff, Robert here. I have a question for you. Is there any way we can get your presentation you did today? It had a lot of emails and things. If we wanted to reach out to someone and volunteer or get involved in that one of those subcommittees?
Yeah, I'll send it out via Club Runner, and that way everybody can.
The other question is, you talk about you can't actively work on the convention until the year before, but can you give us, has Houston developed any kind of sponsorship levels of what they're looking for so that we can do some backdoor discussions with people that we think might be potential?
I know that they have. It hasn't been put in writing yet, but you can email Lisa Faith, I believe it was, and check on that. And then if you, for some reason, have any kind of problem with that, I will let you know. And by the way, for those of you who are about to send a text about my lack of memory, it's Barcelona, Spain that the convention was that I went to. And so whatever part of my brain that was like this just came together, and I remembered Barcelona. So so that was it. But yeah, I'll send that out, Robert, and that way people can touch base with those that want to volunteer. Anything else?
Just a trip to Europe, Jeff. No big deal, right?
Yeah, I couldn't remember. You know, Barcelona. It was pretty fab. You know, one of the many other things that are great about it, and Darla, I'll ask you a second. Raise your hand. Is a lot of people from all over the country will come dressed in their native garb. And that is a fabulous. I've got some great pictures, and you think that we're so different by the way we look, and like Bill, you end up sitting around and they're talking about the same things, about their family, about their work, about their kids, about their Rotary Club, and they just may have a different accent than you do, or talk a little bit differently, or wear a little bit different clothes, and it will bring your Rotary membership to a different level. I guarantee it. Darla?
Yeah, this is kind of spinning off what Robert was saying. If this is something we're going to start doing, maybe we need to come up with some kind of a system so we're not hitting the same people, because some of us cross paths with the same company. So maybe within our club we can kind of, I don't know, other clubs in the area are doing the same thing. How can we make this that we're not all hitting the same people?
That's a great idea. And what we can do is we can ask Lisa Faith, because we've talked about that. We've been meeting now for 3+ years on the convention, just slowly incremental steps, but that's great. So that, Coca-Cola doesn't get 25 phone calls from Rotary. So we'll do that for sure. Anybody else?
I have a question, Jeff.
Yes, Mary.
When is Taipei or Taiwan?
I'd have to look exactly. It's usually June. It'd be June of 2021.
Okay. And then maybe Texas Rotarians could all be wearing cowboy hats, maybe with a different color bandana for a different club.
Well, and that's great. I would suggest somebody, Todd, maybe you appoint someone to start talking, not just talking about Taiwan, but really recruiting people to go. Because, you stand in front of the group and say, anybody want to go? And everyone's busy and whatever. And sometimes you got to go, Robert, do you and Marion want to go to Taiwan? And that ask is a lot better, because it's so much fun to go to a convention like that with, 5 or 10 people and get together. And I know that on the call is Heather Amato. Her club, the Brazosport Club, has always done a great job. They go to conventions in mass. I know Stacy Brevard from West U, they do the same thing. And I think, Todd, and under your leadership, that'd be a fabulous thing to do, to get a bunch of people to go to Taiwan.
And
Okay.
I will just say right now that Dee is over in Hanoi, and she teaches for the Taiwanese government, and that's what, Sophie, we have a large Taiwanese Taipei group right here in Sugar Land. So maybe, Todd, we could tap into them about just educating people who are interested about going to the convention.
Great. Well, I saw somebody mention the skeeters, and that's a great idea. And so that's the kind of input we're going to want. And our host operating committee is only 6 or 7 people. We're going to be going out to all the different clubs. So if you have input in some other clubs, or other Rotarians, please let them know. So let me do this. I'm at 23 minutes, so let me close with that. I'll send out the presentation to everybody in Club Runner, and then feel free to call me with any questions. So once again, Raleigh, thanks for letting me speak today, and thanks for everybody's attention. I appreciate it.
Great. Thank you, Jeff. Very informative. Do please send us all that slideshow so we can have that for our records. And now we're going to move on to our service chair announcements. And I'll just mention that we have Darla, Dr. Doyle, Allison, Ward, Lynn, and Margie. If any of y'all have an update for us, please unmute yourself and let us know what you got.
Okay, well, I do. I'm going to try to put us together a social for next week because restaurants are going to 50%. And if we can be on a patio, from my understanding, that's not included in their percentage of people who are there. So I'm still doing some digging. So anybody who wants to go and be part of it and be brave and venture out on the patio, I'm going to try to see which restaurant would allow us to be there. And just for, even if it was just for an hour. So I know some restaurants are timing you can't be there longer than 90 minutes, but since it's in the middle of the week, it might not be such an issue for the restaurant. So anyway, I'll keep everybody posted.
Okay. Thank you, Darla. Anyone else?
Okay.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Lynn.
Margie? Yeah, oh, yeah. So I was just going to mention about the, the first responders lunch. I have been in contact with the police chief and the fire chief, and we are going to have a virtual meeting on June 10th. And Margie, you're going to talk about the masks?
Great.
Yes.
Okay, you're going to talk about the police and the fire too?
I am.
Okay.
Yes, I am. I told you, y'all didn't want to see my face, okay? So, yeah, just got out of the shower. Anyway, these are the masks. Not real clear talking with that. But anyway, we have masks now, and we are donating some to the police and fire. Lynn and I are going to take them over tomorrow and deliver some to the Sugar Land Police and the Sugar Land Fire Department. And I'm taking some to the ARC today for their staff and volunteers. And I've reached out to Kelly at the Literacy Center and Rick at the Fort Bend Seniors to see if they would like to have some of these. They're obviously not medical grade, but they do, you know, they protect. They fit pretty well. They're easy on, easy off. And we are asking if private people want to buy them for a $15 donation per masks. And some of you have already sponsored masks. You know, so just I think for ease, for Janice and Raleigh and Mitch, just filter those requests through me and I can tell you where you can get them. We are gonna locate some at Flo's shop in Sugar Creek Auto for people that live in the northern part of the area, and then I'll have some at my home for people that live in the southern part of the area to pick them up. We also are donating some to the to Cody Stevens Foundation through Ashley. So if anyone in our club works with or is on a board of a nonprofit that might benefit from having some of these, like I did with the ARC, let me know, and we'll be happy to either deliver them or tell them where they can pick them up. And that's, you know, just keep in mind they're not medical grade masks, so we're not going to give them to the hospitals or the doctors. But any questions?
We only have 250, so I think aren't we limiting it, trying to do 10 per organization, or is that sort of the...
that's about right. Yeah, that's about what most people are wanting, like 6, 8, 10. So it's really not. I don't think it's going to be too. No, yeah, but we'll give what we can give.
Okay,
Right.
I have 4 signs still on my front porch. If anybody wants or needs them, I don't know.
Rick Smith wants them.
Rick Smith. Okay, Rick, I can bring them to you.
Rick Smith.
You want the 4 signs that's on my front porch?
Yep.
Okay, I'll bring them to you.
Did we get the first responder signs done, or what's the...
They're not here yet. They're coming.
They're in production. They should be getting, I'm so sorry, we should be receiving it. Sorry, we got a big order earlier this weekend. We should be getting it on Friday, this Friday. Yay!
I love the mask, Margie.
Thank you. Yeah, I can't stand looking at my face on this video anymore, so get to look at that.
And Margie, is today your birthday?
Tomorrow is my
Tomorrow is
birthday.
your birthday.
But thank you for those that chatted about it.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
All right. Any other service chair announcements? I think that's a no. All right. Todd, are you ready to do Rotarian of the Month?
Absolutely. Sorry, I had put myself on mute. So for those that have not been able to attend the first 2 virtual meetings this month, we do have a new Rotarian of the Month. This month's Rotarian is a very active member in our community. This Rotarian was born in Peru. The Rotarian also grew up in Fort Bend County. This Rotarian attended Stephen F. Austin High School and then went on to attend Texas A&M University. This month's Rotarian of the Month has been involved with Rotary since high school. This Rotarian participated in the Rotary Exchange Program in Brazil. This Rotarian has also lived all around the world, including Brazil, Cambodia, and China. This Rotarian owns and operates a company called Nonprofits Prince. One thing you may not know about this Rotarian, he is very fluent in multiple languages. So if you could please help me and congratulate May's Rotarian of the Month, Ricardo Espinosa.
Ricardo, would you mind sharing with us what you did for Parks Youth Ranch that I think you were able to help them save, I thought they told us $50,000 or more a year in cost of food for the kids there at the ranch. Would you just confirm what you did there?
Oh yeah, sure. Put me on the spot there. So our organization, it's PCCPA. We do various different programs, one of which is Nonprofit Prince, which is a hybrid printing company. But we also are working, we also have a contract with the state to help distribute meals to children, to all children. So what we've actually done is we partnered up with Parks Youth Ranch and assisted them in getting funding so that the meals that they're giving their children, their lunch, breakfast, and dinners are going to be refunded back from our organization to them. You know, kind of so that we can help them use that money to more productive costs so that the kids under their care can be well taken care of. And we're doing a program similar to that in other neighborhoods as well. So we have one that we're distributing meals at a Creative Dreams in Stafford, Texas. And we just got a call back about starting to distribute meals in 2 different apartment complexes already in Fort Bend County, and are currently looking at other places that might need our help. So pretty much if anyone knows, sorry, I'm going to end up putting a little sales spiel here, but if anyone knows of any organization that needs help in reimbursement costs, if they're giving free meals to children and or to adults with disabilities, or for any senior daycares, we're more than happy to help them and help them receive that extra funding that's available. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Sorry to put you on the spot like that too. All right. Just a couple announcements for our club members. The board voted to again suspend our regular monthly dues for the month of May. So as a reminder, we reduced dues in March because we didn't get to have that last meeting in March at Sweetwater. And then we waived monthly dues for April and May. So you'll notice that when you get the May invoice first week of June or so. Also, FYI to all, got a message from Sweetwater Country Club yesterday. Was a little bit surprised by it. They are telling us we will not be having our club meetings there until possibly 2021. They're basically telling us, yeah, Bill, that's what I did. They're basically telling us that they're not expecting to open back up to us until 2021. So that doesn't mean that necessarily that we won't be getting together in person until 2021. Todd and Flo and Margie and I were all kind of trying to figure out if there's another place we can go once we all feel, or most of us, or many of us at least, feel comfortable enough getting together. And once that happens, whenever that happens, it'll probably be some kind of a combination of those that feel comfortable can come, and those who don't feel comfortable can check in on Zoom, and it'll be kind of a hybrid meeting at some point. But for now, we're going to be sticking till Zoom until we find a plan B. So just FYI on that. What else? I think that's about all I have. Does anybody else? Jeff has a hand up.
I want to, on behalf of the Literacy Council of Fort Bend County, I'm the current chairman of the board for Literacy Council. Along with Raleigh and Todd, we were at the Literacy Council offices last week, and on behalf of the Literacy Council, we accepted a check for $5,000 from the Sugar Land Rotary Fund Run that we had. And so that $5,000 goes a long way in a tough time. And so I wanted to thank the club, everybody who participated, and Todd, who organized it, for that contribution to the Literacy Council. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. And thank you, Todd. The first ever that I'm aware of, second fundraising event that the club has done. So very cool. All right, anybody else have anything else for the good of Rotary?
You know, Raleigh, we didn't ask for good news, but have some great news.
Let's hear it.
Okay. We have a new grandbaby. My daughter had a little girl, and
Nice.
she is just as sweet as she can be. So we're excited. It's number 12 for us.
That's great. Congratulations, Bill.
Thank you.
And Josh. Congratulations, Josh.
That's a new 12th man.
Aggies. Golly. All right. Anybody else have anything else for the good of Rotary?
Hey, Raleigh, this is Todd. I recorded our meeting today. However, I didn't press the start button until a couple seconds into Jeff's introduction. So I missed Bill's introduction, but I'm going to have it available on YouTube next couple hours. So, and I'll share it with the club if they want to share it with others.
Okay, great. Thank you, Todd. Anyone else?
David?
No? Yeah, David, what you got?
Me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I just been certified as a high performance coach, and that's in the area of life and helping people reach a higher level. So it's
Great.
been a year and a half of hard work.
That's great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Michelle, thank you for joining us today. It's good to have you back. Don't be afraid to come to our next one. It'll be the first week of June.
Well, I am glad to be back, and I'm back for good. So it was a little hiatus for me, which is the first time in 8 years. So glad to be back, glad to see everybody, and yeah, be there.
Great. All right. Well, with that, we are adjourned. Thank you all for attending. Thank you to our guests. We even had guests from overseas on today's call. So thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your week. And we will have a social of some kind with Darla next week. And then we'll have our next regular club meeting the following Wednesday. See y'all later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, all.
Bye.
In a couple of weeks.